So you've definitely heard of the ketogenic diet, right? It's pretty much everywhere. But what you probably haven't heard is the incredible scientific story hiding just beneath the surface. Today, we're going to dive into a doctoral thesis that pulls back the curtain on how this diet might actually have the power to reprogram our entire immune system. So let's ask the big question right up front. What if the keto diet isn't just a trend? What if it's actually a powerful key that unlocks a completely different operating system for our bodies, especially when it comes to inflammation? The thesis kicks off with a pretty bold claim. A lot of the nutrition science we see is, well, not as solid as you'd hope. And this is so important because the study we're looking at today isn't based on guesswork or what people say they ate. It's a controlled scientific experiment designed to get real, hard answers. All right, so let's move beyond the pop culture headlines and step into the lab. Let's see what's really going on. At its core, this research is all about one thing: getting the data we need to see if we can turn nutrition into a legitimate clinical tool. We're talking about treating food not just as calories, but as a very specific set of instructions that we're sending directly to our cells. Now, to really get this, we first have to understand a fundamental concept. The keto diet isn't just about avoiding bread. It's about flipping a massive metabolic switch deep inside your body. So what are we really talking about when we say ketogenic diet in the scientific sense? Well, it's a state where your body is getting less than 10% of its daily energy from carbohydrates. When you take away its main fuel, sugar, it has no choice but to find a powerful new way to power itself. So where does this new fuel come from? Your liver. It basically transforms into this amazing little factory. As you can see here, it takes fatty acids and starts churning out these new energy molecules called ketone bodies. The really important one for our story is called BHB. These ketones then get shipped all over the body to power everything. But here's the plot twist, and this is where it gets really cool. These ketone bodies, they're not just fuel. They're actually active signaling molecules. Think of them like tiny biological text messages carrying instructions to other parts of the body, including our DNA. Okay, so how do those text messages work? Think of your DNA as a massive library of cookbooks. What determines which recipes get read are these little clips called histones. Well, that ketone body we mentioned, BHB, acts like a brand new kind of clip. It can literally attach to the packaging around your DNA and change which genes your cells decide to read. It has this crazy long name, but here's what you really need to know. Changing your fuel source can directly change the instructions your immune cells are following. It's a direct line from your plate to your genes. So this is all fascinating in theory, right? But how in the world did the researchers prove this actually happens in real people? Well, they designed a pretty amazing real-world experiment. And that's what makes this work so important. It was a first-in-human study, specifically designed to watch these deep immune system changes happen in real time, in perfectly healthy people. And these are the folks who made it all happen. You've got 44 healthy volunteers, average age right around 35. They committed to a super strict ketogenic diet for 3 full weeks, letting scientists analyze their immune systems before and after. So, after those 3 weeks, what happened? What did they find? The results were stunning. They saw a profound recalibration of the entire immune system. To understand the findings, let's use an analogy. Think of your immune system like a thermostat. You've got these cells called Th17 cells. They're the ones that crank up the heat, causing inflammation to fight off bad guys. Then you have regulatory T cells, or trees. They're the peacekeepers that come in and turn the temperature back down. For you to be healthy, that balance has to be just right. And here it is, the punchline of the whole study. The ketogenic diet tilted the balance. It gave more power and more influence to those anti-inflammatory peacekeeper cells, the trees. It effectively turned down the body's entire inflammatory thermostat. But it gets even more precise, which is just incredible. The diet didn't just broadly reduce inflammation, it specifically went after and dialed back the most aggressive, most pathogenic type of those inflammatory cells, the exact kind that are often found causing damage in autoimmune diseases. So let's zoom out. What could this all mean for the future of medicine? Because this is clearly about so much more than just a diet. This is about rewriting our immune response. Because this study points to such a specific anti-inflammatory mechanism, it suggests that the keto diet could become a serious therapeutic tool, a way to manage diseases that are driven by an immune system that's just gone haywire. So the big picture here is, well, It's huge. We're looking at a potential new therapy for inflammatory diseases. We're talking about a strategy to push back against some of those modern lifestyle-related disorders. And maybe most importantly, we're seeing hard evidence for a new way of thinking about nutrition itself as a form of precision medicine. And all of this leaves us with one final, fascinating question to chew on. As we keep decoding exactly what our food does inside our bodies, are we moving toward a future where a doctor's prescription isn't for a pill, but for a very specific plate of food?